Hello team, this is Real World Audio and let's explore beyond the limits today. We are continuing our discovery of what are the mechanical differences between low and high efficiency loudspeakers, their drivers, and now I'm going to talk about the demands on the amplifier. So right now we will be just ignoring what the crossover is doing. I talk about that at the following part. Now I will just pretend, we will play pretend that there is no crossover here, that we are directly driving the loudspeaker cone with the amplifier, which can very well happen when you are using DSP and you have the crossover in front of your amplifier, and then truly you are driving it properly, directly, without any interference in between. So basically what is happening in the case of a low efficiency loudspeaker and a ultra high efficiency loudspeaker is that to reach the same SPL they need to work in a drastically different fashion. High efficiency and ultra high efficiency loudspeaker drivers make very little, very tiny cone movements to achieve extreme SPLs, and low efficiency loudspeaker cones require massive excursion to have the same SPL. So when you read in the tabloids that there is this new driver and it's capable of 20 millimeters of cone excursion, and that's stated that so vastly superior than those old drivers from the 40s, which could only travel a few millimeters, maybe 5 millimeters, versus those astounding 20 millimeters. However, what these tabloids are not telling you is that those so-called antiquated drivers, they require just 1 millimeter to create the same sound pressure level as this new glorified driver requires 10 millimeters to have the same SPL. What does that mean? What are the consequences in the realm of physics? The consequences are absolutely astronomical, because it means that if you want to accelerate something, to move something 1 millimeter, you need to expend a certain amount of energy to make the cone move 1 millimeter and then come back. Now, if you want the same thing to happen over the course of 10 millimeters, what you need to achieve is that you need to travel 10 times further to create the same SPL sound at the same frequency. And this means that your cone movement has to be 10 times faster. So when you have a low efficiency loudspeaker, the difference is not just a difference in efficiency, but this low efficiency loudspeaker has to push the cone forward and back 10 times faster than an ultra high efficiency loudspeaker does. So it's not just the cone moving further back and forth, but it has to move much faster, because during the same amount of time, one has to cover a distance of 1 millimeter and the other a distance of 10 millimeter. It's the same as if you are a runner and you have to run a lap of, let's say, a 1 kilometer lap versus a 10 kilometer lap. Of course, now I think you all guessed that when you have to run 10 kilometers instead of 1 kilometer, that's a really major difference. And that's why there is so vast difference in the power demand. So that's why an 82 dB per watt meter loudspeaker needs 100 times more power than 102 dB per watt meter loudspeaker. because that 20 dB of power difference, that's 20, that's 100 watts. And when you have like 10 times longer distance, you need 100 times the energy to provide the energy requirement for this movement. Why? Because you need to go forward, you need to accelerate and decelerate. So this is not like a runner who is just running a lap and I'm fine, but this is like what can I really cannot compare it to anything else. It's a piston that you need to accelerate. It's like a car that you need to accelerate your car, brake it, and then come back. And when you go at 10 times the speed, then it takes 100 times the energy to decelerate from there. Or to accelerate to that speed, you need 100 times the energy. And that's why we need 100 times more energy for a low efficient loudspeaker, because we need to cover the energetic demands of pushing the cone so much further. And it's not just so this means that 10 times the distance requires 10 times top speed for the cone movement at the same frequencies, 100 times the energy requirement, and also 100 times the control requirement from your amplifier, which means damping factor. So basically, for an amplifier to have the exact same amount of control over a loudspeaker driver, if it's 20 dB lower in efficiency, you need 100 times greater damping factor to control that loudspeaker. And let's have a comparison for that. So if you have a single-ended tube amplifier, let's say like an audio note ongaku, it has a damping factor maybe around 8 or 10, which is 10. So it's a non-feedback single-ended amplifier, which are typically mated with these ultra-efficient loudspeakers. And then let's take as an example damping factor 10. Now, if I'm using a low efficiency driver, which is at 82 dB per VM, to have this driver driven by an amp to the exact same level of cone control as your ongaku is driving that ultra efficient loudspeaker, you need 100 times this damping factor to provide you that same result. So basically, you need an amplifier with a damping factor of 1000. And that's why these new amplifiers today, which have these super massive high damping factors, are total game changers for current low and lowish efficiency loudspeakers because of that massive damping factor. And that is not a step up control compared to a situation that we had, let's say, like a single-ended triode amp and an ultra-efficient loudspeaker, because this has the exact same level of control as we would have a modern high damping factor amplifier with a low efficiency loudspeaker. And this is why it's absolutely crucial when you are matching amplifiers and loudspeakers that for a single-ended tube amp to sound good, you need ultra-efficient loudspeakers, because the damping factor is of that single-ended no-feedback amp is matched to mirror, to control a driver cone that does not travel much. So if there's significant cone excursion, then you need high damping factor. But when you are playing your music loud and the cone doesn't move, then that's the scenario when a low damping factor is enough to handle that. So thank you guys for looking at this scenario together with me. And please give me your comments and your ideas and thoughts on that. And have an awesome day. Bye bye.